You know, everybody, much like, say, religion and politics, and God knows I'm not going to go there, thinks they have a brighter idea when it comes to picking stocks. And in spite of all the research, which says that just ain't so, oh yes, some people are lucky. Some people are lucky at the lottery. Some people win in Las Vegas. But let's examine that idea in detail. And here, I'm going to do it with a simulation as opposed to all those reams of empirical evidence. And while the stock market does go up and down, boy, does it go up and down, it generally exhibits a pattern of a statistical distribution across time, although you'll notice it's not symmetrical. If it were symmetrical, you would have the absurd case that eventually a price would become negative. And that's just nonsense. And here, this graphic you're looking at is from a simulation I did, and it's across time. Notice the prices spread more upward. There's a couple of stellar stars in there. I'm going to argue those are hard to pick, but they always get included in your portfolio. And they trail downward. And notice while the average mean here is 0, for purposes of simplicity in this simulation, but notice that the middle price, the median price, does slowly decline. And because there is some math involved, because it is a simulation, and or for those of you who are so inclined, bless your little hearts, each simulation had a previous price which was increased or decreased by a standard deviation monthly, and then the results were looked at yearly. And we can see the details associated there too, and you can do this in Excel or a basic program and so on. By the way, notice the monthlies, when extrapolated out to yearly, it's times the square root of 12, the number of months. And thus you get the classic asymmetric statistical distribution, sometimes called a gamma distribution, a Poisson distribution from the French word for fish. Don't get me started on those Frenchies. I do love them, though. Look, you have something called the median and the mean. There's also something called the mode, for those of you who like it, pi alla, and I left that out. The mode is the most frequent case. Probably interesting if you're, say, ordering T-shirts or something. But here, what's relevant is the median is the middle case. The mean is the average of all of them. You know, like if you're looking at housing prices, or how tall somebody is in a classroom, with or without the basketball player. And it's generally recognized throughout statistics that if you're only picking one instance for comparison or analysis, not a whole bunch of them, but just one instance, that the median is the best way to think of the population as a whole. You know, that classroom with the one basketball player? Very unlikely to pick him or her. But on the other hand, if you included it, you'd been kind of misled. If you're looking at housing prices, you probably don't want to think of including the multi-million-dollar homes when the likely case is one of the ones in the middle. So here are the results. Did a run of 1,000, a bunch of times. For those of you into confidence bounds, that would be about 0.03. It's pretty good. We did the various monthly standard deviations, 2, 3, 4%. 3% is pretty close to the reality. That's like 10% a year. Of the 1,000, only 25 were able to beat the average of the portfolio. Moreover, when comparing your performance to the portfolio vis-a-vis the median, you underperformed by about 1.5% trying to pick a stock as opposed to holding the portfolio as a whole. And not surprisingly, with maybe a 2% monthly, about 7% yearly, the difference is a little bit smaller, about 1.2%. With a monthly of 4%, some 14% yearly, you got almost 2% differential, and that's not surprising if you think about it. And likewise, the number of medians beating the mean average of the portfolio of 1,000 show the same kind of progression. So bringing this all together in a grand summary, perhaps in a way I don't think I've heard anybody else put it, is that not only do you lower your risk with a diversified portfolio, you also get that winning security included therein. You also get a better return, as well as the fact that your ability to pick any particular stock is less likely, no matter whether you thought of it or somebody else thinks they have the brighter idea, be it a broker, and you know why they call them brokers, don't you? They make you broker, or maybe some silly info on how to get rich quick scheme on TV with Dr. C.